Hello, good evening, and welcome to another Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer League race, Week 3 of Season 3. I'm Ferran Burgundy. I'll be bringing the action to you in this grudge match between two very skilled, very well-experienced competitors in the Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer community. LateLearner taking on RaveTuba. It should certainly be a goodie, to say the least. Now, the object of Super Mario Land 2 is to defeat Wario, and to do so, they have to access his castle by getting, as the title would indicate, 6 golden coins. And they'll be doing so by taking on 6 different bosses throughout the 6 different zones. And, well, because this is Randomania, got to have some things randomized, and boy, are there quite a bit. All the different zones are randomized, the enemy locations are randomized, as well as whether or not a particular level is an auto-scroller. Very important is that there are 7 zones levels throughout the game that are what are called split levels, meaning that there are 2 possible exits. And one of them will lead to a secret area, which is what they don't want, and the other, well, will lead to where they're looking to go, which is closer to the boss. And speaking of going, we're doing that here as we're starting off with the starting level, which in this case is going to be Mario Zone 3. And an early death for LateLearner hit. So they're going to fall a little bit RaveTuba, but a death as well as an incorrect decision on those split levels can certainly change the path. And oh, there's another one for LateLearner, a quick soft. So the enemy's already being a little unfriendly to get things started here, as a bullet bill makes RaveTuba small on the right side. Some rather precise jumping already here on both of our competitors' parts. And power-ups also are randomized, so that is another thing of note. And RaveTuba quickly going to make his way on out of there and head on over to the Turtle Zone to get things started. And the first of the Turtle Zone boards, well, that looks to be Macro Zone 3. So there'll be some arrowed floors along here that'll almost work like conveyor belts as they put you in the direction that you're looking to go. And Slash noting in chat that generally a lot of the runners tend to go to the left and start with the tree zone, but RaveTuba doing me a favor apparently and following the same way that LateLearner is used to going. So they're both going to be taking the same path, which means we'll have a pretty good idea of who's in the lead, as they're both in the same direction. In this case, RaveTuba with maybe about a 20-second lead, I would say. And now heading into the second part of the board with the fireplace, I suppose is a good way to describe it, and some rather timely jumps, just avoiding that bonefish is RaveTuba, and is going to hit the goal. And move on to the first of our 7 split levels, Turtle Zone 2, which this time around is in its vanilla location. It is the submarine. So with Turtle Zone 2, it's going to be interesting in that the shorter exit is, in terms of time, is the secret exit, which requires our runners to go through what is affectionately known as the gauntlet, just this long, narrow hallway that, as you can see, you either, well, usually have to be Small Mario to hit, and it's just a series of random enemies here, and one little collision, and that will take you out, just like that there with RaveTuba. So that gives LateLearner a chance to come back here, and it could be possible going through that gauntlet may lead to the Turtle Secret Zone, which is what our runners do not want. So now it's going to be LateLearner's opportunity to make his way through the gauntlet. And the bullet's proving troublesome, and oh, there it is, and a quick reset for LateLearner. Almost as many early deaths as a Dragon Warrior Randomizer Chaos Edition. Okay, maybe not that many. So now under the shark goes RaveTuba underneath the middle level shark and is going to get to the exit, and we'll see if it is the right one. It is not. So they're going to have to make their way the long way through the board and is going to have to go back. So back to Turtle Zone 2 and having to take the long way through will be both of our runners should LateLearner make it through the gauntlet here, and there's one last shark to get past, and LateLearner will also receive the bad news. And we got to see in an ever quick glance that was Pumpkin Zone 1 in the Turtle Secret Zone. But back through and, ooh, a death for RaveTuba. So now an ever so slight lead for LateLearner thanks to that death. So LateLearner taking the high road, trying to avoid swimming as much as possible, and you can't say as you can blame them with all the issues that they can potentially run into under the water. So now back out, and oh, a money bag that he was looking for, hopefully a power-up, and got pretty much the one thing that he didn't want. So now some tricky traversing here, and it's pretty much dead even at this point. Oh, but RaveTuba taking a death, and LateLearner is going to hit the midpoint bell. RaveTuba just short of it. So that's going to give LateLearner a pretty notable lead here, as RaveTuba is going to have to start all the way back from the beginning of the level. And another power-up. This time it's an invincibility star for LateLearner. Going to use that and traverse through the pipes here. And now underneath the floating shark. Gotta love that. It's amazing when it's randomized. And LateLearner perhaps trying to jump to hit that end bell, which would have given him an opportunity to get an item, but instead, well, we go to Turtle Zone 3, which in this case is Turtle Zone 3. This is going to be the boss level for Turtle Zone, also in its vanilla location. Now, at the end of this, normally is the octopus, but it can be one of the 6 different bosses. Either the octopus, the 3 little pigs, which are the boss of the Mario Zone, the witch, the boss of the Pumpkin Zone, the sewer rat, which is the boss of the Macro Zone, Tatanga, which is the boss of Space Zone, or the Mama Bird, which is the boss of the Tree Zone. And it can be any one of those 6, as LateLearner now picking up the first carrot of the game, which allows our runners to kind of use the bunny ears to float along. And we have the 3 little pigs. So a little bit of floating over top here as he takes care of the straw pig. And next up is the stick pig. Ooh, very careful to move around there. And here comes the brick pig. Ooh, gets a collision there and is going to lose those ears, but is going to stomp on the 3rd pig. And LateLearner is going to be the first to get a coin. One of the 6 golden coins here in this race. And here at 8 minutes and 9 seconds, the Turtle Zone coin belongs to LateLearner. RaveTuba not too terribly far behind. And there's still plenty of ground to make up here. As LateLearner heads to Mario Zone, the only zone that does not have any split levels, Mario Zone's going to start off with Tree Zone 3. And RaveTuba utilizing the fire flower and is going to give us some bacon, some sausage, and some ham, and will quickly take care of the three little pigs. And roughly 45 seconds behind, I would say, is RaveTuba heading into the second zone at 8:55. Yeah, about 46 seconds behind. Meanwhile, LateLearner taking a death and soft resetting, and that allows RaveTuba to catch up just that quickly, as both of them are now in the same zones level. And LateLearner able to find a hidden block that happened to have a carrot for that set of bunny ears. So that's going to allow him to float up and easily make his way across the level, but not far behind is RaveTuba, now only maybe about a second apart from one another, as we now head to Mario Zone 2, which is in its vanilla location. So now LateLearner using the ears to be able to float along overhead. RaveTuba with a little bit more of a challenge, but has the fire flower to be able to dispatch of some enemies. And is able to get that invincibility star, and that allows him to pretty much keep pace with LateLearner here, maybe only about 5 seconds behind now. And now also getting the ears. So LateLearner hitting the goal, and only maybe about 6 seconds behind now is RaveTuba as we head into Mario Zone 3. And that looks to be Pumpkin Secret 1. Which both quickly take care of. And now we head to Mario Zone 4, which is going to be Macro Zone 4, notorious for its books. Remember, folks, reading is fundamental. And meanwhile, as far as the music, the Wario Castle music, making things sound a little ominous, and we've got Tatanga as the boss. Normally the space boss. In this case, bossing the Mario Zone with the Macro Zone level, and both of them with the ears going to just float over top. And LateLearner going to get the 3 stomps. And not too far behind is RaveTuba. And both are going to get coin number 2, mere seconds apart from one another, as at 11:58, LateLearner gets his, and RaveTuba not too far behind at 12:06, only 8 seconds apart. So able to make up that ground at least a little bit is RaveTuba. This is anybody's race. And now the Pumpkin Zone 1, oh, it is an auto-scroller. It is the mole, the miscellaneous overworld level. I refer to it as the mole not only for an abbreviation, but basically because it's kind of like an actual mole. Just kind of, it's there. I don't necessarily mean the animal, I mean the thing on the skin. Kind of like, you remember Fred Savage in Austin Powers 3, a gold member? That kind of mole. And don't forget, make sure to give our runners a follow. As well as our restreamer and tracker, Wolfman2000. And even though he commentated our race earlier today, you can give the Shades AT a follow. He's a good dude. I don't do a whole lot of streaming, so you can follow me, but don't necessarily have to. And here we've got Pumpkin Zone 2. And that is going to be Pumpkin Zone 3, one of our 7 split levels. So there are two exits, one which requires the ears that they both have for the moment to be able to take the secret exit, or they can go low and they can go to the standard exit. And LateLearner grazing the midpoint bell. You can see those appearing and disappearing blocks having some issues. And LateLearner is going to go high, and we'll see if the secret exit is ideal. It is not. So that's going to be a bit of a loss here for LateLearner and for both of them. So now they got to head back and do it again. And we quickly saw that Pumpkin Secret 1 was Pumpkin Secret 2. So back into Pumpkin 3 we go. And they're both going to make their way through the level once again. And this time around, they're going to take that low exit to be able to advance to the third Pumpkin Zone level, which also is a split level. This is the only board that has... Actually, I stand corrected. There are two in the Space Zone. One is the Hippo board that has to lead to the Space Zone. This is the only solidly contained zone that has multiple split levels. And, oh, a death for RaveTuba. Getting hit by the ghost, and LateLearner going to extend the lead as he goes to Pumpkin Zone 3, which is Macro Zone 1. So we'll see if LateLearner's fortune gets a little bit better here, as both of our runners are 0 for 2 in the split level decisions. But making nice work of it with the Fire Flower, which is what is needed to get to the secret exit in Macro Zone 1. And there's the midpoint bell for LateLearner. RaveTuba now hitting the goal and is a little more than a half level behind at the moment. But all it takes is one death or one incorrect decision, and we're right back into this. And speaking of right back into it, we've got something that you're always into. Yes, the Star Song. Oh, and the secret exit again is not the ideal one. And we briefly got to see that that was Turtle Zone's secret in Pumpkin Secret 2. So if you're RaveTuba here, you are hoping, although you don't realize it, you're hoping to lose that Fire Flower. But since he's coming up on the spot that's needed, unless he was able to hit that ant, and is going to go the wrong way. And a little bit of crouch for swag, but he's going to want to duck for cover after seeing where this leads him. And looked like we had an ever so brief Star Song. And Wolfman noting in chat, thanking Rave for dancing to the music, but it's not going to help. So LateLearner now heading up to the final Pumpkin Zone, which is Pumpkin Zone 4. As noted in chat, yes, lots of spicy vanilla this time around. That is the 4th vanilla location zone level, and we're only halfway through here in this game. But on the bright side of them having to repeat the level, that means more Star Song. Meanwhile, LateLearner is heading into the boss of Pumpkin Zone, which this time around is the octopus. And with the ears, going to just float over top. And back-to-back Star Song Zones levels. As LateLearner makes quick work of the octopus and is going to get coin number 3 here at 18 minutes and 59 seconds into this race. So the split for Pumpkin Zone definitely more favorable for LateLearner here, as he's now going to head into Macro Zone 1, which this time around is Space Zone 1. Which it looks like it has its traditional moon physics. And the Fireball's making quick work of the octopus, so that'll make up a little bit of time here for RaveTuba, but he is still sitting at about a 48-second differential, which actually isn't too far from where he was after Turtle Zone. Oh, but LateLearner taking a death in the Space Zone, and just that quickly, that can make up the time here. But LateLearner, having hit the midpoint bell, at least is midway through the zone's level. But already running into a series of challenges, even with the standard physics that are here in the Space Zone. As yes, the physics can also be randomized. So you could have a level with regular jumping that could be, it could have moon physics, it could have, oh, as we see here, it looks like the standard exit was ideal, as that's going to send him to the Macro Secret Zone, which in this case is Tree Zone 4. So now the question is, will RaveTuba go high? No, he will not. So both of them are going to take the correct path on that. Not so much correct as it is ideal, as you have one less zone's level to take if you go the route of the Macro Zone Secret, as opposed to having to go to Macro 2, Macro 3, and then get to the Macro Zone 4, the boss level. Here you can just go right from 1 to Secret to 4. It's a little shortcut. So no advantage or disadvantage as they both took the correct ideal location. So LateLearner continuing with the lead as RaveTuba grabs a 1-up and hits the midpoint bell just as LateLearner gets through the end of the zone, and we're going to have Mario Zone 4. Notorious for its building blocks, as you see there. And now RaveTuba going to follow suit. LateLearner with a little bit of an advantage, having those bunny ears, able to control gravity a little bit. Something I'm sure we'd all love to do. And the boss here is going to be the witch. And the guess is coming into chat as far as what order of sides she's going to appear. We have left. We have left again. And we have right. Meanwhile, over on Rave's side, will it be more of the same? It shall. Meanwhile, Ding Dong, the witch is dead on LateLearner's side, and at 2309, that is coin number 4, the Macro Zone coin for LateLearner. RaveTuba not too far behind, though, and is able to make up a little bit of ground, as at 23 minutes and 26 seconds, gets coin number 4 as well. And meanwhile, the traditional hippo zone, that is going to be pumpkin zone 2, which is a split level as well. The correct path in this case will take them up to space zone. The incorrect path will take them back over to macro zone. They definitely don't want that. And LateLearner jumping up at the midpoint bell and taking a death to a boo. And Rave just missing the midpoint bell. We'll see. Make sure that doesn't come back to haunt him here. Rave just narrowly avoiding the Fire Flower, wanting to keep those ears. And just like that, RaveTuba now with an ever so slight lead as they both grab the Invincibility Star. LateLearner is going to detour off to the left to grab a mushroom. And as I said, any slight thing can certainly change things around, as just that quickly the roughly 17-second lead for LateLearner has been eliminated. And now RaveTuba taking the secret exit, and that is the correct one. So that means LateLearner is going to have to go back in, and meanwhile, the Space Zone 1 is going to be the Hippo Zone. So there are two exits that are close to one another. One is a little bit higher than the other. So they're basically going the same distance, but again, this is where something could change in that an incorrect decision, well, it'll lead them to the space secret zone, and that is not what they want. So Rave in this case is going to go high. And that is correct as well. And Space Zone 2 is in its vanilla location. Ooh, and a quick death for RaveTuba. Meanwhile, LateLearner heading down is also going to take that secret exit. And we'll now get to the Hippo Zone. So we'll see what is done here. And Wolfman noting that those are not vanilla physics in that particular zone, and that is correct. As we have an auto scroller, but it looks like we have standard physics. Normally you would use the space physics to be able to float over top, kind of like what LateLearner's doing with the bubble. Oh, and LateLearner's going to take the lower path. And we know that's the incorrect one. That is just going to potentially further pad the lead of RaveTuba as he gets the macro secret zone in Space Secret. And that was an auto scroller as well. So he quickly noped on out of that and is back in the bubble to take the upper path. Meanwhile, we've got the auto scroller in Space Zone 2. And having to take that bit of damage there, as there was no way to really get around that. And meanwhile, hitting the bell to get a little bit of assistance, not a bad idea. As he is going to go in and get the carrot. So very well done on LateLearner's part. Meanwhile, little moonwalk action on RaveTuba's end. And now we have double auto scroll action. Which gives me the chance to let you know, don't forget, coming up tonight at 9 o'clock here on Randomania is the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise weekly race. Definitely want to check that out. And also tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time, we've got a Zelda 2 Randomizer Max Rando tournament coming your way. One of the tournament matches. And then tomorrow night, oh, that is something different, new, and exciting. The Final Fantasy Randomizer Swiss Reveal Show and Entrance Shuffle Race. That's tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern, as that will kick things off for the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. And we've got the Sewer Rat and 3 quick hops from RaveTuba, and that is going to take out the Rat. So now here for coin number 5, it's RaveTuba with the lead. At 28.57, getting coin number 5, the Space Zone coin. So now it's just a matter of the Tree Zone, and then off to Wario's Castle. Meanwhile, LateLearner still heading through the auto-scroller, and let's see what Tree 1 brings. That would be Macro Zone 2. Oh, but RaveTuba taking a death to that piranha plant, shooting the fire. But LateLearner just hitting the midpoint bell, so RaveTuba still with the lead, but not as comfortable of a lead as before. This time waiting, and gets past it. And now making his way through at the half-hour mark here is LateLearner, about to take on the Sewer Rat to try to get coin number 5. 1 leap, 2 leaps, and holds off. And now the third takes out the Rat. So not quite as efficient of a kill for LateLearner as it was for RaveTuba, but nonetheless able to take it out. And here at 30 minutes and 27 seconds, so now the lead for RaveTuba, at least as far as the coins are concerned, a 1.5-minute lead for RaveTuba after trailing for a good majority of this race. So now LateLearner is going to head into Tree 1, which is the second macro zone level. And a much-needed mushroom right before the edge, and another death for LateLearner is now heading into Tree Zone 2, the last of our split levels, and it is in its vanilla location. Only the 6th this run to have the vanilla location. It looks like we've also got some space physics to go along with it. So floating along the sap and very dangerously floating along those spikes. And meanwhile, looks like taking an intentional death after hitting the midpoint bell is RaveTuba. And is now able to grab the Fire Flower. Meanwhile, LateLearner about a level behind. And we'll see here what RaveTuba wants to do as far as the secret or the traditional exit, as LateLearner going to head on now to Tree Zone 2. And RaveTuba is going to go high and is going to take the secret exit. We'll see if that was the right choice. It was. And now heading over to the left to Tree Zone 1 in the Tree Zone 4 location. Trying to traverse the frogs. Meanwhile, LateLearner floating on, able to grab the Fire Flower, and now we'll see what he does here. Meanwhile, RaveTuba is waltzing his way along those logs and is going to opt for the carrot for the bunny ears before finishing the level, and is going to go to the final boss zone, which is Tree Zone 5 in its vanilla location. And LateLearner also taking the correct option and also going to the left and hitting Tree Zone 1. So RaveTuba almost getting a safety invincibility star. Make that 2. Well, tried for a 3rd. And perhaps so that way, perhaps the plan for that was to get the 99th enemy kill as something not necessarily known in the game, or at least not often seen, I should say, is once you take out 100 standard enemies, not including bosses, you automatically get an invincibility star, and a lot of our runners like to use that at a particular point in Wario's castle. So RaveTuba very well set up here as he takes out the mama bird and gets coin number 6 here at 34 minutes and 56 seconds into this race. And the door slowly opens. And that ominous music can only mean one thing. It's time for a showdown with Wario. Now, it looks like we have standard physics this time around. So that should make things a little less cumbersome. I dare not say easier, because nothing is easy about this castle, but it's certainly less cumbersome. Oh, and almost taking a death there is LateLearner floating along here to the end and is now going to take on the mama bird as well. Oh, and there's a 1-up, not exactly what RaveTuba was looking for. And 3 quick stomps, and LateLearner is going to get coin number 6. But still trailing by just under a minute and a half. Only able to shave off about 5 seconds, but still about an 85-second lead for RaveTuba, who is just sprinting through Wario's castle. And able to get a timely fire flower. Oh, and there's a death at the edge. And just like that, LateLearner has made up the time thanks to it. Oh, and another death from RaveTuba. Beast was noting in chat that one of our other popular runners here, Beast Frisian, noting that Rave had a few seconds left to die, and that was almost the chat curse as opposed to the commentator's curse. And just like that, now LateLearner has the lead again. And now back in goes LateLearner with probably at this point now maybe about a 15-second lead, but also utilizing those bunny ears to float over top of a lot of the obstacles that RaveTuba has to traverse now. Now LateLearner opting not to gather that fire flower and floats over top of the spot where Rave had taken a death. And just barely outruns those thwomps and takes an intentional hit to do the spin jump on the one ball. Takes out the other two. And now there's two as well. Meanwhile, there's the invincibility star, so that's going to make this... Oh, but he missed one of them. I was going to say make it a little bit easier for RaveTuba here. Meanwhile, LateLearner is on the first of 3 sections for Wario. This looks like it's going to be a matter of seconds here, as now LateLearner grabbing the power-up. So that gives a little bit of time back to RaveTuba, and now LateLearner having some trouble with the floating Wario. So this is another chance to catch up. So LateLearner now taking out the second form of Wario, and not too far behind is RaveTuba. Who is going to take it here? Oh, wow, it's going to be LateLearner. Just mere seconds ahead of RaveTuba. And RaveTuba is also going to finish off Wario. Get out your GGs for both runners who finished 7 seconds apart. LateLearner is going to take it here with an official SRL time of 39 minutes and 31 seconds. And right behind him was RaveTuba at 39:38. Wow, what a race. We'll see if we can get both of them into chat here, as I'm sure they're going to want to know how, well, they know how close it was, but how things went along and the lead changes and everything else here. So we'll see in a matter of moments here, but man, that was, to say the least, was impressive. Yeah, as noted in chat, so very, very close indeed.
It was.
And it looks like both of our runners are here in chat, and GG to both of you. I mean, what a heck of a finish. 7 seconds separating the two of you.
Wow.
Nice.
It was tight.
It was, I mean, the majority of the race, at least for the better part of the first 20 minutes or so, it was pretty close overall, but it was an ever so slight lead for LateLearner. Looking here at the split times here, the first coin, there was about a 46-second differential.
Wow.
Then that was closed in to just an 8-second differential, 11:58 for LateLearner and 12:06 for RaveTuba. But then the lead expanded again for LateLearner after the Pumpkin Zone, 18:59 to 19:57. So that was a 48-second gap. But then it was closed in again after Macro Zone, and the differential was only 17 seconds. But then I believe it was just a matter of 2 correct decisions for RaveTuba versus 2 incorrect on the Hippo and the Space Zone 1 for LateLearner, and that allowed a huge swing, as after coin 5 it was about a minute and a half differential in favor of RaveTuba. But then a couple of well, actually the lead was pretty much about the same, about 5 seconds shaved off, as it was a minute and 25-second lead for RaveTuba after gathering the 6th coin. But as it always tends to be, Wario's Castle certainly was the equalizer.
Yeah.
Ooh.
2 deaths there for me.
I was about to say, you must have got a lot of wrong exits like me, but obviously it was the Mario that screwed you up instead.
I took the wrong exits on Turtle and both on Pumpkin Zone.
Okay. 6 for me, or 5? Wait.
I think those are all the ones I took.
5 wrong exits for LateLearner versus only 3 for RaveTuba.
Those are the 3 I took wrong. Turtle and 2 pumpkins.
Ooh. Yeah, but I kept thinking, I just assumed on my 3rd Wario hit that Rave would press done just as soon as I just before I hit him.
I was watching your video, but I finished long ago. No, I was still running.
I'll have to rewatch this. It sounds good.
Oh, I'll definitely need to watch it again. GG LateLearner.
Cheers, GG man. I'm a bit shook up. 2-1 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
First win against you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm being told by our restreamer Wolfman that in IRC apparently it's the time was listed as 39:32, so still a 6-second differential. I was
Yeah.
IRC SRL one of those letter combinations.
Okay.
Either way, still extremely close. That's whether it's 6 seconds or 7 seconds. I mean, when you're going at it for almost 40 minutes and it's that close between the two of you, you know it was a really good race.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It really was. It must have been.
Well, just a question though, Ross. Did you die on the castle? Or?
No, I purposely took a bell before the final tree level to get a carrot because I knew it'd be the tree level and carrot helps, and then also I wanted to keep it for Wario's castle. So
I actually got the carrot on the before last level where it was just pump tree 1, and there's that secret power up like after the bell.
Yeah.
And I took that when it was a carrot, so I took that.
I avoided so many flowers. I'm not sure why. I kept seeing them. I just kept avoiding them.
There were a lot of flowers, yeah.
One thing that I wanted to add, Rave, I want to thank you for doing me a favor, whether it was intentional or not, as you had at the start of the game had gone to the right, as LateLearner is known for doing. So both of you started with Turtle Zone and went counterclockwise.
Scumbag. That was my thing, and he's taking it away from me.
I told Ross I wouldn't do that.
So it was more so to troll Ross or LateLearner than it was to do me a favor, but that was an added bonus.
Yes, definitely.
Plus, it made it easier to keep track of who was in the lead. Whereas if you had gone in different directions,
yeah, it would be harder to see.
The person has more of this done levels, and there would have been a lot of speculation as far as who really was ahead. Whereas here, it's extremely cut and dry.
May I ask? That first level is a nightmare, and that's the second time I've had it recently. How did you do on it, Rave?
I did very well. The 2 first jumps that you need to go through the spikes, I did them first try.
Nice.
I was very proud of it. I was actually surprised that, according to what was said, you were 40 seconds ahead of me on the first coin.
I was going to say I got wrong exit too, so I don't. Oh, you got wrong exit as well. Strange.
I also got Where
there was a 40. I'm looking at it here. 46-second differential between when I think part of that was that. Oh goodness! I was gonna say one of you had taken out the pigs with the fireball, whereas the other didn't. So there was a longer time taken to take out the pigs, and that certainly swung things in one direction.
All right.
I kept refusing to take the fire flower. I just kept the carrot for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah.
I guess that's everything.
Excellent.
All righty. Well, congratulations. I mean, great race for both of you. I mean, way to showcase why you are 2 of the top runners in this league.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And it certainly is appreciated. Make sure, chat and folks watching here on twitch.tv/randomania, make sure to give both of our runners a follow here, LateLearner and RaveTuba. Also want to thank behind the scenes here, Wolfman 2000 doing the restreaming and also the tracking. And yes, I'd like to think that that LateLearner this beast is throwing a little bit of shade in chat, as they tend to do here. It's a very, very, very fun and friendly community, and I'm sure if you check out the Discord and check out the game made by /Infinity as well, yes, there is a table where the leaderboard is listed. You can check all that out. I'll pull that up in just a moment here. In the meanwhile, don't forget later tonight at 9 o'clock, just a little over 2 hours from now, is going to be the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Weekly race here on Randomania. And then coming up tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be another of the Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link Max Rando tournament race. One of the tournament races. And then tomorrow night at 9, this should be interesting as well. the Final Fantasy Randomizer Swiss Reveal Show and Entrance Shuffle Race. That'll be going on tomorrow night at 9 as that kicks off the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament, which will start this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget, Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Weekly Race. That's right, the Wednesday Weekly Warrior. You'll more than likely hear me doing commentary on that as well. So just some of the few, the proud, the many awesome things that are coming up here on Randomania. And I'd be remiss to mention, oh my goodness,
I can hear you typing.
Up this Saturday is the Super Mario Brothers 3 Randomizer one-shot tournament. That'll be going on starting this Saturday afternoon, and that is going to be an all-day tournament that'll be going on throughout all of the channels among the Randomania networks. So you definitely want to check that out. That is this Saturday, June 2nd, starting at noon Eastern, and you can see more about it on chat, as that certainly will be an event that you don't want to miss, as are many of the events here, if not all the events here, on the Randomania networks. Well, wanted to thank both of our runners for LateLearner and RaveTuba, and for Wolfman 2000 behind the scenes. I'm Ferran Burgundy saying until next time, may your stars sing brightly and your seeds stay classy. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.